The topic of the video is religious views on environmental ethics. Firstly, for the start of the video, let's understand what environmental ethics are. Environmental ethics is a branch of applied philosophy that studies the conceptual foundations of an environmental values as well as more concrete issues surrounding societal attitude, actions and policies to protect and sustain the biodiversity and the ecological system. Now questions like what duties do humans have with respect to environment and why? Is it necessary for us to act morally? Do we really owe nature something? And if yes, then how can we ethically act in the situation? And many more questions like these are now to be viewed from the lens of various religions and what do they have to say about the environmental ethics, which is the current issue.
Religious views given by Sikhism. Sikhism teaches that all forms in the universe exist under God's command and that having brought a life from into being, God will protect it. The Sikh holy scripture, the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji states, "We shall reap the results of the seeds which we sow." For example, if we unsustainably remove trees from the planet, then we are sowing the seeds of our own destruction. Sikhism also encourages humanity to follow the principle, benefit the whole human race. This is very much a holistic view that states that we as custodians of planet Earth must perform those deeds which benefit everyone. The Sikh Gurus taught people to be completely selfless by example. Sikhism encourages people to respect and live in harmony with the environment, including animals and plants. The Sikh holy scripture states, "Air is the Guru, water is the father, and earth is the great mother. Day and night are like two nurses who look after us." The Sikh Gurus were great lovers of animals. Indeed, the 10th Guru is sometimes known as the one with the falcon. The Sikh community has always been closely associated with agriculture, simply because it is the prime industry in Punjab. It just so happens that this is also the world's most important industry. Kar Seva is unique to Sikhism and it involves the working together of an entire community to achieve a goal. The same concept of Kar Seva has been applied by the Sikh community to, for example, clear litter from parts of Delhi's city streets with amazing results. Christianity teaches that all creation is a loving act of God and that humanity may not destroy biological diversity or destroy God's creations without the risk of destroying itself. Green Christianity is a broad field that encompasses Christian theological reflection on nature and spiritual practices centered on environmental issues, as well as Christian-based activism in environmental movement. Within the activism arena, Green Christianity refers to a diverse group of Christians who emphasize the biblical or theological basis for protecting and celebrating environment. Green Christians point out that the biblical emphasis is on stewardship, not ownership, that the earth remains the Lord's and does not belong to its human inhabitants. The obligations of Christians is to recognize that nothing in the world is ours by right. All belongs to the God who created it, and anything we use is His gift, not ours by right. Therefore, they have an obligation as God's stewards to do as little harm as they can, to which that God's to help and heal and improve what they can, to be kind and loving in their treatment of all living things. Jainism's unique cosmology gives cause for Jains to think deeply about their role in such environmental issues as industrial pollution and global warming. Jains state that the waters and the air contain life, in addition to the living creatures that dwell therein. Hence, pollution deemed harmful in either element must be mitigated, not only for the sake of human health, but also for the sake of the life that thrives in air and water. Similarly, global warming will not only cause great disruption for humans, but will displace and perhaps decimate countless species, the most famous at present being the polar bear. Given human complicity and casualty in regard to climate change, Jains would have a double incentive for taking action: protection of the humans and protection of other life forms. The Jain definition of soul puts life in the recesses of the earth, in the waters of lakes and oceans, in the very air itself. In order to preserve the well being of our own soul, Jainism suggests that steps must be taken to protect the lives of all beings. With disregard and perhaps intentional harm, karma accrues that deprives the human being of energy, of happiness, even consciousness itself. By respecting life in its human and non human forms, the soul embarks on a steady course of self purification that benefits all beings. Jainism, one of the oldest living religions, teaches ahimsa, which is non violence, towards human beings and all of nature. Followers of Hinduism believe in the forces of nature and its interconnectedness with life itself. Certain rivers and mountains are sacred as they give and sustain life. All plants and animals have souls, and people must serve penance for killing plants and animals for food. The teachings of Hinduism, as expressed in the Bhagavad Gita, present a clear description of ecology and the interdependence of all life forms, from bacteria to birds. Hinduism contains numerous references to the worship of the divine in nature in its Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, Sutras, and its other sacred texts. Millions of Hindus recite Sanskrit mantras daily to revere the rivers, mountains, trees, animals, and the earth. There are examples of Hindu action for the environment that are centuries old. Panchamahabhutas, the five great elements, create a web of life that is shown forth in the structure and interconnectedness of the cosmos and the human body. Hinduism teaches that the five great elements, space, air, fire, water, and earth, that constitute the environment are all derived from Prakriti, the primal energy. Each of these elements has its own life and form. Together, the elements are interconnected and interdependent. For Hinduism, nature and the environment are not outside us, not alien or hostile to us. They are an inseparable part of our existence and they constitute our very bodies. Ishavasyam, divinity is omnipresent and takes infinite forms. Hindu texts such as the Bhagavad Gita certain many references to the omnipresence of the supreme divinity, including its presence throughout and within nature. Hindus worship and accept the presence of God in nature. For example, many Hindus think of India's mighty rivers such as the Ganges as goddesses. Protecting the environment is a part of Dharma. Dharma, one of the most important Hindu concepts, has been translated into English such as duty. In Hinduism, protecting the environment is an important expression of Dharma. Islamic teachings emphasize the importance of environmental ethics and stewardship. In Islam, the environment is considered a trust given to humanity by Allah, and believers are responsible for its protection and sustainable use. Here are some of the key principles and perspectives on environmental ethics in Islam. Stewardship. The Quran describes humans as stewards or trustees of the earth. This implies a responsibility to care for and protect the environment. Muslims are urged to utilize natural resources wisely and avoid wastefulness. Balance. The concept of balance is crucial in Islamic environmental ethics. Muslims are encouraged to maintain a balance in all aspects of life, including the use of natural resources. Overconsumption, exploitation, and pollution are considered violations of this balance. Conservation and sustainability. Muslims are instructed to conserve and sustain the environment. The Prophet Muhammad is reported to have prohibited the wasteful use of water, even if one is near a flowing river. Prohibition of waste. Islam strongly prohibits extravagance and waste. Wasteful consumption of resources is seen as a violation of Islamic principles, and individuals are encouraged to live modestly. Animal welfare. The Prophet Muhammad emphasized kindness and human treatment towards animals. Cruelty to animals is considered a sin, and Muslims are encouraged to treat all living beings with compassion. Environmental justice is also emphasized in Islam. The distribution of resources and the impact of environmental decisions should be fair and just, ensuring that all members of society benefit equitably. Shinto, the indigenous spirituality of Japan, does not have a codified set of doctrines or scriptures like some other major religions. Nevertheless, Shinto has a deep connection with nature and the environment. Nature worship, Kami. Shinto recognizes the presence of Kami, sacred spirits or deities in natural elements such as mountains, rivers, trees, and rocks. Nature is considered divine, and there is a strong reverence for the natural world. Shinto emphasizes living in harmony with nature and maintaining a balance between humans and the environment. This idea is to coexist peacefully with the natural world rather than dominating or exploiting it. Certain natural sites are considered sacred in Shinto, and rituals are performed to honor and show respect to these locations. Pilgrimages to natural landmarks are common, highlighting the spiritual significance of the environment. Purification rituals. Water plays a significant role in Shinto purification rituals, symbolizing cleansing and renewal. Respect for water sources reflects the importance of purity in both a physical and spiritual sense. Season festivals. Shinto festivals often revolve around the changing seasons and agricultural cycles, celebrating the beauty and abundance of nature. These festivals express gratitude for the gifts provided by the natural world. Bans on deforestation. Historically, Shinto beliefs influenced policies prohibiting the cutting down of certain sacred trees, contributing to the preservation of forests. Environmental conservation. In modern times, there has been a growing awareness among Shinto practitioners about the importance of environmental conservation. Efforts are made to integrate ecological and sustainability into Shinto practices and rituals. While Shinto lacks a centralized set of ethical guidelines, its emphasis on the sacredness of nature and the interconnectedness of the humans and the environment underscores a deep respect for ecological balance and harmony. Buddhism, with its roots in the teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, offers a unique perspective on environmental ethics. While Buddhism encompasses a variety of traditions, several key principles can be identified regarding its views on the environment. Interconnectedness. Buddhism emphasizes the interconnectedness of living beings and the environment. Actions that harm the environment are seen as ultimately harmful to oneself and the others. Impermanence. Buddhism teaches that all things are impermanent and subject to change. This perspective encourages an attitude of adaptability and non-attachment to material possessions, fostering environmental sustainability. Compassion. Compassion is a central tenet of Buddhism, extending not only to humans but to all living beings. This compassion naturally extends to the environment, promoting care and considerations for the well-being of all beings. Right livelihood. Buddhism outlines the concept of right livelihood as a part of the Eightfold Path. Practitioners are encouraged to engage in professions that do not harm living beings or the environment. Mindful consumption. Mindfulness is a key practice in Buddhism, and this extends to the consumption habits. They are supposed to be mindful of their impact on the environment, avoiding wasteful and harmful practices. Stewardship and responsible use. While Buddhism does not advocate a notion of dominion over nature, it encourages responsible stewardship and sustainable use of resources. Ahimsa. The principle of ahimsa or non-harming is foundational in Buddhism. It extends to avoiding actions that harm the environment such as deforestation or pollution. Meditation and environmental awareness. Buddhist meditation practices cultivate heightened awareness and mindfulness, fostering a deep connection to nature and the environment.